When you think you're being empathetic, but you're actually just being too nice. We all want to be liked, right? It's a natural human desire. And as leaders, we want our team to feel supported and happy and engaged. But there's a crucial point where nice stops being effective and actually starts undermining your leadership impact. In fact, being too nice can kill your authority, breed inefficiency, and ironically, lead to resentment. After 18 years in leadership, going from leading just 2 people to leading leaders of large teams, I've seen this one play out many times. And if you've been prioritizing being popular over making tough decisions or trying to please everyone, this video is for you. We're going to break down the key signs that you are actually falling into the too nice leader trap, why this is dangerous, and more importantly, how to shift from merely being liked to being truly effective and respected. So let's be clear, being a kind, empathetic, and respectful leader is absolutely essential, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the tendency to avoid discomfort, seek approval, and to prioritize popularity over the hard work of leadership. So how do you know if you're already fallen into the too nice leader trap? Let's look at some key signs. Sign number 1, you consistently avoid tough conversations. This could look like dreading performance feedback, letting minor issues slide, not addressing conflict directly, and sugarcoating bad news. You might think that you're being kind by avoiding confrontation, but you're actually doing a disservice to your team and the individual. I've been there. I've thought, they'll figure it out. I'll just give them some more time. When deep down, I knew actually this is quite a problem. It is uncomfortable to give critical feedback, especially if you're worried about being liked. It's too easy to get stuck in this one and think, oh, people will improve, it's just a one-off, or it's not that serious. But a true leader understands that clear, honest feedback, while tough, is a gift. Yes, a gift. Sign number 2 is that you struggle with delegation and take on too much. You might think, oh, it's just easier if I do it myself, or it's going to take longer for me to explain this than it is for me just to do this. You might take back delegated tasks if somebody's struggling with them, or you might just hoard responsibility because you're afraid to ask your team to do some work. This will potentially lead to your own burnout, and it also prevents your team from growing. They never get the opportunity. Sign number 3 is that you rarely say no to requests. You agree to extra projects, you extend deadlines to allow for somebody else, you take on additional responsibility to help everybody else, and then you fear disappointing people or pushing back by saying no. The impact is that you're going to be overcommitted, stressed, and you're probably not going to be doing such a great job of any of those things that you've taken on. People could also start to learn that your yes might mean that you're late, or the quality of your work isn't going to be that great because you are overwhelmed with too many things. Sign number 4 is that you prioritize being liked over setting clear expectations and accountability. This could look like letting standards slip to avoid tension, not consistently holding people accountable, and accepting those lame excuses rather than challenging them. The result is usually that your team will like you in the short term, but they won't respect your leadership. Performance will probably dip, and resentment can build among the high performers who feel like they're carrying the load. So the real negative consequences of falling into the too nice trap are actually quite damaging. It erodes your authority. You'll become seen as someone who can't make tough decisions, can't do the tough calls. Your team might start to question your competence, and they might not see you as someone who can really lead them through challenges. The team efficiency and performance can also suffer. If people aren't held to account, they don't have clear expectations, the chances are that they're not going to perform consistently either. This can also lead to conflict among the team for those who are pulling their weight and those who aren't. Being the too nice leader can also cause burnout, and not just for you, but for your team members too. particularly those high-performing, consistent ones. They can't do everything. They can't pick up the slack of the people who aren't performing. And if you need more on the whole idea of burnout and how to manage your own stress, make sure you check out the video linked on the screen. While you might be initially liked for being easygoing, nice, friendly, whatever, a lack of leadership will lead to disrespect. People actually respect leaders who are fair, consistent, and decisive, even when it's uncomfortable. They might like a friend, but they respect a leader. By not giving your team honest feedback and clear expectations, you're also stifling their growth. You prevent them from stepping up, learning from mistakes, and achieving their full potential. It's a vicious cycle. You want to be liked, so you avoid conflict. Avoiding conflict leads to poor performance, which leads to your own stress, which ultimately leads to a loss of respect from your team. So if you recognize yourself in some of these signs, don't worry. This is quite common and it is a skill you can absolutely learn. So to shift from the merely being liked to the being respected as a competent leader, start with embracing radical candor. And if you haven't heard of it, there's a video linked on your screen with Kim Scott's practical advice on this topic. It's about being able to care personally, but challenge directly. It's not about being mean. It's about being clear and direct with your feedback, because you ultimately care for your team members and their success. You can start with practicing those tough conversations. Start small, prepare, focus on specific examples, don't generalize, and on the behavior, not the person. I have a video on your screen called Tough Talks Mastered, which can really help with this. Next, master the art of saying no strategically. Your yes needs to mean something. Say no to protect your team's capacity, your own time, and your strategic focus. When asked to take on something, perhaps from your big boss, think about it and phrase questions back in terms of this around, okay, so my priority is X right now. If I'm to take on this project, which would you like me to prioritize first? Make it really clear that it's a choice, that they can choose. Or if you can say no, you can go with, I appreciate you thinking of us. We would love to help, but unfortunately we don't have the bandwidth. However, we will do so in a couple of months if you're prepared to wait. The next step is setting crystal clear expectations and holding people to them. Ambiguity is the enemy of performance. Your team need to know exactly what is expected of them. Document expectations, discuss them frequently in one-on-ones, and then consistently follow up. You are having one-on-one time with your team members, aren't you? If you're not, or you're unsure of the value, make sure you check out the video on your screen. If someone misses a deadline or a standard, address it promptly and directly, but supportively. It's not about punishment. It's about helping them meet expectations. Next up is that delegation. The idea on this one is not to just delegate tasks, but delegate authority. This is how people grow. Identify growth opportunities for your team and do it with your team. Don't just decide where they should be focusing on for growth. Make time to have discussions about their performance and their development goals. This way, when it comes to delegating projects, you can align them with people's development goals and what they want to do, if possible. When you do delegate, be really clear about the desired outcome. Provide necessary resources and support, and then step back. Allow for mistakes as learning opportunities. And again, another video on your screen if you want to get really into it. Next, prioritize purpose over popularity. Remind yourself constantly of what your overall goal is. The team's success, contributing to the organization, the development of your people. Your leadership role is to serve that, not your ego. Before making a decision, just have a quick check. Am I making this decision because it's going to benefit me by being liked? Or I'm making this decision because it actually has a strategic benefit that really goes along with our goals? Am I avoiding this conversation because it's hard? Or am I avoiding this conversation because it's truly unnecessary? Being an effective leader is not about being the most popular person in the room. It's about earning respect through consistent action, clear communication, and a commitment to helping your team and your organisation, even when it involves uncomfortable decisions. Your team needs you to lead, not be their best buddy. And ironically, when you stop trying so hard to be liked, you'll often find yourself far more respected and ultimately more effective. And if you're still on the fence about why this whole being friends with your team isn't a great idea, make sure you check out the video on your screen. And thanks very much for watching.